can't be worse than the Knicks and Pacers.
It is. I mean, it might be. All right, everybody. I believe we're live. Still clicking on things. What's going on? Wednesday, March 3rd. I don't think I have anything up right now that I would like to have up in terms of managing this stream. So that's a great start. Hope everybody was able to work their way through at least what was disastrous for Adam and I on a Tuesday night. Adam, what's going on, man?
Cannot wait to play a different slate.
Yeah, you and me both. Which is really weird because I really liked yesterday's. Like,
so did I.
I felt good. I was ready to sweat it. Turns out I was in like Antarctica. There was no sweating whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's a frosty day. Brutal. So brutal. Oh, okay. We'll do the housekeeping. We only have 6 games today. I feel like this is like the smallest slate we've done in, oh God, maybe ever.
Yeah. Was it you? It was either you or Stratford told me that like for the next 10 days or 2 weeks or something, it's like 6 to 8 games every night.
It is, yeah. Every single, I mean, you know, Saturdays and Sundays obviously throw it off with like broken slates, but well, at least Sundays. But yeah, every day is like 6+ until who the hell knows, like 3 weeks from now.
When it's baseball season and who gives a shit?
That's not going to be a fun stretch. Although we're slowly working our way into the NBA who gives a shit season. Not from my perspective, but it's starting to get squirrely. When the Andre Ingrams start coming back, starts to get weird.
Yeah, you're just getting more teams doing Knicks style things.
Yeah. The ambiguity in playing time at the end of the season is the most frustrating piece of DFS.
Yeah, I mean the late news is whatever. You deal with that all season long, but it's the, you know, he's going to play he's going to play somewhere between 22 and 36 minutes.
Right.
For
like,
every player on the team.
Right, like, you know, we're going to start with Heat Pistons. If you maybe this isn't the best example because the Heat are fighting for a playoff spot, but like if you told me that Derek Jones was going to play 30 minutes a night going forward because they like wanted to see what they had in lieu of playing Kelly Olynyk, like I get it.
Right.
And then there's going to be a day where Kelly Olynyk hits 2 threes in the first quarter, and that's the Olynyk day where he gets those extra 8 minutes. Like that's the stuff that happens. It's so incredibly frustrating. Alrighty, NBA Strategies, the promo code, 50% off your first month with us. Any package you choose, including packages with Fantasy Cruncher. So make sure you're into that promo code and put it in the promo code box. That's the most important piece of this. 50% off. You can't beat it. You get too much stuff for it. And we are brought to you on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, as always, by my favorite sponsor, Thrive Fantasy. Thrive Fantasy is a place where you can watch me beat Adam every single time we have a contest. And that is a fact. It has happened every single time we've had a contest. I'm 100% victorious. And we'll see if that changes again today. Are we in for today?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see if that changes today. Game 3, coming back to my arena, whatever that means.
I still haven't figured out how this is like you at home for the first 2, or me at home for the first 2 games.
I don't know. I'll give you the home court.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you were the 1 seed.
as I should have been.
You're like Virginia.
I don't follow college.
No, they lost. Last year as a 1 seed.
Oh yeah. I remember.
Remember? I mean, that implies that I'm the 16 in this, and
right.
I didn't really realize where I was going with that before I said it.
I mean, it's. I think it's an accurate comparison.
That one sucks. I'm more of a scrappy 8-9 seed with the second round matchup where it's just like, you know, their best player was down for most of the season, so they would probably be like a 3 seed. But
so basically, you're saying you were tanking DraftKings and FanDuel all season, but you're stepping it up for Thrive now.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Okay,
glad we're on the same page. If you go to bit.ly/Awesemo, a link that I can paste in the chat. And if you enter the promo code AwesemoStrat, one big word, you get a free $5 and you don't even have to deposit. I mean, free money is free money. That's a 20-piece nugget at McDonald's. You can't beat it. Those are too good of nuggets. No. It's early, man. I slept in a little bit today, and I'm off. Everything is happening like 20 minutes later than it should. So for Thrive, you're trying to pick player props. They give you a list of 20, which I have on the screen right now. These are all of mine in order. So since I know Adam's not looking at this right now, I can share that.
Nope.
You pick your favorite 10. You want to see if they'll go over or under a certain amount of points, rebounds, assists, whatever. And you get points based on if you're right or wrong. More often than not, my points are higher than Adam's. That's where we stand today. We will be doing game 3 today in our head-to-head contest.
Did you actually follow it in game 2?
What, follow
like our?
I mean, I didn't sweat it. I was keeping an eye on it, but like I didn't.
Okay, I was winning it like into the last game, and I was all ready to like start talking shit on Twitter, and then I realized that I accidentally had overlooked the easiest prop on the slate with Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah.
And that you had it. And so I was like, okay, I just need like 5.5 assists from Williams, or I needed like 38.5 combined, everything from Kyrie. And they're both in like spots to crush it going into the fourth, and then the game blew out and you got your Harrell. And basically I just ran really bad.
Yep, those sound like excuses to me. I'm running good. 2-0. When I get to 3-0 after tonight, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun because I want that sweep then bad. I might get a second T-shirt, one made, some sort of like Thrive logo and a broom, commission an artist. It'll be worth it. But yeah, I go up 3-0 today, so pay attention to that. I'll tweet it out right after lock. Chances are we'll have like 4 or 5 of the same props like we normally do.
Yeah.
And it'll come down to, I don't know, Chris Paul blocks under 1.5 or something stupid. Oh, alrighty. You ready to get into this?
Yeah. I see the first game now, though, and I think we can just skip it.
Yep. Like I said, it's not a great one. Let me see if we have ownership yet. We do. Let me grab ownership quick, and then we can get started. I'm afraid
106, 104. What a
terrible game.
Yeah, I mean, what great totals in 2019.
And like, there are two teams where I basically never want the Heat, and like the Pistons are basically a 2-man team. So
yeah, I do have to say I like when the Heat play teams like the Pistons as opposed to teams like the Hawks.
Yeah, so you can just ignore them.
Exactly.
Right. All right. Let me sort my lineups quick because I don't have anything checked off. That way I have my exposures.
This is the first time we've ever done a show, and you're just as prepared as I am.
Ownership came out 5 minutes ago. We were already on air, so I couldn't have prepped for this one any earlier. I would have liked to. I don't mean that negatively, Tom, so when you're listening. Still love you, buddy. Okay, exposures are in. Let's start this off. Miami Heat hosting the Detroit Pistons. I've got 105.5 to 104.5. They are the lowest and second lowest totals of the slate. Both teams are solid defensively over their last 15 games. This is rough. Hey Josh, your time is wrong. What does that mean? Brooklyn OKC saying 7 o'clock. Yeah, so this is a 7:30 game. See, they've started flexing a lot of the games. At the beginning of the season, I pull the basketball reference schedule and just add it to my sheet, and they have clearly changed the game times of a lot of these. So I'm going to have to go back in and re-add it, because apparently I'm not going in order. Yep, this is a 7:30 start now. Orlando, Washington is the 7 o'clock. Brooklyn, OKC is a 7 and not an 8. Yeah, we're going to be all over the place today. I'll update my schedule.
Hopefully the sites adjust that, because it's really annoying when they cancel a slate because they don't have the times right. I haven't looked to see if they have it right.
I assume that everybody else is right except for me. Yeah, they move these things around, so we're just going to go with what I have on the screen. For this show, it really doesn't matter. We're going to do all of them, I promise. Heat and Pistons. We'll get it out of the way quickly. It's a pace down spot for, I don't know, both teams. Terrible. Josh Richardson is questionable, so like the most steady piece of the Heat is the one piece today that is up in the air. He never misses either. Like I can't picture the last time he's been out.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I mean, if it's happened, it happened on like a Saturday or Sunday where I didn't play the slate.
Right.
He's 6,200 on FanDuel, 5,900 on DraftKings. Like if he plays, I like him, but who the hell knows? Like is strong. These guys are all priced better on FanDuel, by the way.
If he plays, I dislike him less than other players on the Heat.
Right. Basically, I'd look at him and Winslow on FanDuel, and I don't really have anybody else on DraftKings. So, how do you feel about this team?
Exactly the same way. Yeah.
It's
I mean, Winslow in 30 minutes is fine, I guess. Richardson is fine, I guess, if he plays. Whiteside's still not starting and still not really playing minutes. Adebayo is going to get murdered, but I don't know. Spoelstra cares. I have nothing.
I have all zeros in my exposure column on DraftKings except for a little bit of Richardson. Who knows what they do with Bam and Whiteside here? Obviously, Drummond and Whiteside have mild amount of history. I have Bam in as the starter, quote unquote, 25 minutes. Whiteside getting the other 23. I don't know what to do here. I don't know how to break it out. How many minutes do you have Dragic playing?
I have him at like 22.
Okay, I gave him 20. I don't know what to do here either, but
yeah,
just there are much better spots. If Josh Richardson is out, what do you think the impact is to this?
So I think Derek Jones Jr. would be the obvious beneficiary. I think Rodney McGruder would pick up more minutes, which is normally useless for us. Winslow probably picks up a couple more minutes. Wade probably plays like 28.
Yeah. That all sounds right to me. Jones gets the biggest boost just from playing time. McGruder confirms his minutes, and then you spread out whatever is left.
By the way, I do want to go back. Actually, I guess it's still. I was gonna say, I think I had Wade projected a little bit too low as is, and he's someone that I've been playing a lot of, but still not. Like he's my second favorite player behind Richardson, I think.
Okay. I can't even say that I have favorites, but I don't get the sense that you can either.
You know what I meant, yeah.
Pistons finally starting to get some spread in their salaries. Drummond is 10-2 on FanDuel. Blake is 8,100. Blake is a better play. I have slightly more Drummond. Blake at 31% ownership today on FanDuel. Drummond is at 6%. So I like being over on Drummond and under on Blake. How do you feel about them on FanDuel to start?
No, I mean, I
two
agree
different discussions. So
yeah, I agree with you. Like Blake is obviously underpriced, but he also he's kind of like Kawhi Leonard to me in some ways. He pretty rarely has that game where he just like goes nuts, and part of the reason for that is that he just hasn't really been rebounding that well.
Yeah.
Drummond obviously a big reason for that, but now you have an unappealing game here against Miami also. I think that Blake's the kind of guy where like he pretty easily fits into a cash lineup, I would think, at 8,100. But I wouldn't hate the idea of being around or under the field in tournaments.
I agree. 31% is a lot, and it's very obvious when you look at it why he gets to that number. And I'm with you there. I think that he looks like a better cash play than he is a GPP play. He's at 1.14 FanDuel points per minute over his last 30. Drummond is at 1.5. That's a lot of gap. And how do you feel about Drummond at 10-2? Do you have any issues with that price tag?
Not really. At least not in a vacuum. I mean, the game is just so unappealing is like my only problem. But no, I mean, Drummond is just insanely good.
Yes, he is. Now, on DK, Drummond is 9,400. Blake also 8,100 again. He is at 17% ownership there. Drummond only at 2 on DK. Do you have a preference between the two guys on DraftKings?
Between Blake and Drummond?
Yeah.
I think I prefer Drummond.
Yeah, I like both of them significantly less on DK than I do on FanDuel, so I'm not super worried about it one way or the other.
Going back to FanDuel real quick, I just pulled up their center pricing. So, and it kind of changed my opinion on wanting to be over on or liking how much I like Drummond. Where are you on Vooch at 10K versus Drummond at 10-2?
That's a good question. I'm looking at Drummond right now in comparison to everybody else. I have 4 times as much Vooch right now as I do Drummond.
That seems appropriate.
On DraftKings. I have 21% Vooch and 6% Drummond.
What about on FanDuel?
I have 16% Drummond and 14% Vooch.
Okay, see, I think I'll come in with a lot more Vooch than Drummond.
I can go either way on FanDuel. DK is interesting because we have Drummond at 2% expected ownership. We have Vooch at 19. Those guys are pretty close to a coin flip for me tonight. So if that's the case, then I just want to have more Drummond than Vooch, even if the matchup looks ugly.
Have you seen Vooch's minutes lately?
Are they
massive? Holy shit, yeah. I mean, by his standards, like 35, 35, 34, 36 over his last 4.
What do I have him in for? I have him in for 32. Yeah, I got that. That has to move to 34.
That's always my Vooch baseline, and that's I double checked because I always try and get him more minutes if I can justify it. And I just looked and was like, okay, he's playing the most minutes he's played all year.
Okay, so if I move him up to 34,
and it's such a ridiculously good spot for him. We could probably talk about him when we get to that game, but
yeah, I'm gonna have. Well, that's just gonna make it worse on DraftKings, but I don't know. Like, how do you feel about that with Drummond being basically unowned? Although, I have Vooch like pretty clearly ahead of him now too, so I understand the ownership gap. But do you feel comfortable being like, if you know that it's 19-2, how do you want to hash those guys out?
I mean, for the most part, in spots like that, especially where I have Vooch as the better play, I end up just getting maybe overweight on 2% on Drummond, but nothing crazy, and then just still getting a lot of Vooch. Because, and I know you do it as well, and we talk about it a lot, I care more about being contrarian in my individual lineups than I do in my overall player pool.
Yep.
And so if I had them projected like identically, then, I would probably be more interested in like just having a ton of Drummond and trying to win the slate that way. But since I don't, what most likely happens is I just jam in a bunch of Vooch. I get a little bit of Drummond, and then because Vooch is more popular, I just have contrarian plays in my Vooch lineups.
That makes sense, and that's how it should be. You don't want to play less of a guy that you think hits a target regularly. Find the other spot.
Yep, mistake I made for a very long time.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of people make.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you're not fond of, we've got Blake at 17%. I'd rather just take away from him and play more Drummond than vice versa. All right. Any other Piston?
God, Reggie Jackson at 4,800 is going to get me.
How many minutes do you have him in for? 30, I'm guessing?
Yeah. Even though I know he hasn't played it in 4 games, but there's been extenuating circumstances.
I've got him at 28. I don't know how I feel about it.
So here's the thing with Jackson, and I went through it last slate on the deeper dive once I realized it. So his minutes, his game logs absolutely suck. But over his last 4 games, he's played 18, 24, 23, and 20 minutes. 33, 21. So it's really ugly, and people are not going to play him for that reason. But 4 games ago, they lost by 7, or they beat Minnesota by 17 points. He played 20 minutes. They 8-point game against Chicago. He played 23 minutes. It was a game where the Pistons bench got hot, and so he just didn't really come back. 24 minutes in a 23-point win over the Bulls, 18 minutes in a blowout loss to Brooklyn, where not only was it a blowout where he didn't play the fourth quarter last game, but he also got hurt in the second quarter, missed the final 5 minutes of that quarter. But in like all of these games, he's playing around 15 first half minutes. We just haven't had a game where he actually comes back in the fourth, due to like game flow situations. So I still think that if you project him for 28 to 30 minutes at 4,800, he's been averaging over a fantasy point per minute over the last month. Like he's actually playing well.
Yeah.
I think it's a spot where he's going to be probably really low owned. He was like 2% owned last slate against Brooklyn at 5K.
He's at 8 right now.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I just think it's a spot where there's obvious risk because like Ish Smith isn't bad and Ish Smith can take minutes and everything, and it's a bad matchup and all that. But I just think his price tag is like artificially dropping for reasons that it shouldn't be.
No, that makes sense. And so I gave him that extra 2 minutes. I don't have his projection looking great. I only have him at 0.84 for the game, which I'm not. It's not going to stop me from getting him. I'll probably be right around the field. There's not a lot that can happen where $4,800 really hurts you.
Right.
He can bomb and you can still cash. So, yeah, he's a guy that I probably should have had a little bit more. A much better, he can pay off a $4,800 price tag pretty easily.
Yeah. I have him at 0.98 points per minute for the game.
Okay.
Which is slightly below what he's done since over his last like 16 games.
Let me see if that changed anything. Adding the Vooch and Reggie Jackson minutes will probably change my distribution a little bit of lineups. All right, there we go.
If I put Jackson at 28 minutes, I get him as like a good play. If I put him at 30, I get him as a little bit better play.
So you probably have him close to like 30 FanDuel or 30 DK points?
Yeah. If I give him 30 minutes, I have him at like 29.4.
Okay.
If I give him 28 minutes, I get him at like 27.5.
I might have to take a look at his rates a little bit because I might be under projecting him. But
he's since the start of February, they've played 16 games. He's played 430 minutes, 26.6% usage rate, 25.3% assist percentage.
I think he's taking a major haircut. Oh, everybody on this team is taking a major haircut because of the reduced possessions and the Heat's defense as of late.
Yeah.
Just enough that you need to be hyper efficient in a game like this. Ugh. Let's just talk about better games. Like the Wizards hosting the Orlando Magic. Wizards 113.25 implied total. Magic 110.75. What are the Wizards' chances of making the playoffs? Like 5% or something?
Last I heard, I think it was like 3.
Check 538 quick.
Pretty disappointing as a Wizards fan because like when they were doing poorly early in the season, I kind of was ignoring it because it was just like whatever, it's the East, they'll figure it out and coast in, and then they're actually not going to make it.
538 has them at 10%.
Oh, okay, that's higher than I thought.
They are 1.5 games back of the Magic. So
that's it.
Yeah, the Magic are 31 and 37. The Wizards are 28 and 39.
What seed are the Magic?
1, 2. They would be projecting on 538 to be the 8 seed.
Okay, that's what I thought. Huh, so they were a lot closer than I thought they were.
Yeah. So this is a big one for Washington if they want to have aspirations of actually making the playoffs. You know, we could have a bigger discussion of whether or not they should, but neither here nor there.
So if they make the playoffs, Ernie Grunfeld, I assume, keeps his job. So,
I mean, that dude keeps his job no matter what happens.
Yeah. I got a little bit more optimistic because of the Ted Leonsis email about winning out to hit a goal.
Unbelievable. Pace down spot for the Wiz. Magic defense has been fantastic lately. We'll start with Beal. 11,200 on FanDuel, 9,800 on DK. I don't have him on either site. I have him at 40 minutes. He's been at 1.35 FanDuel points per minute over his last 30. I'm just way under that number. How do you feel about Beal tonight?
I feel like 11-2 is a little bit
egregious.
Yeah.
I mean, Is he? He's the third most expensive guy on the slate behind Harden and Russ.
Right.
He's more expensive than Paul George, more expensive than Andre Drummond, more expensive than Vooch.
Yeah, so I don't think I'm getting I don't think I'll be getting much of him on FanDuel. I do think I'll be getting a lot on DraftKings at 9,800.
Okay.
Averaging, 1.28 points per minute since the start of February over 16 games, almost 630 minutes. Just playing so many minutes. He's the entire offense. Like you said, it's a game that Washington really needs to win. Wouldn't be surprising if he played more than 40 minutes, I guess. But yeah, I mean, he's just really, really good. So I have him projected for like almost 53 points on DraftKings at less than 10K. It's pretty appealing.
Yeah, so I have him at 47.7. Like I would rather have Steph at 9,300 today with Curry out, with Durant out.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
Donovan Mitchell at 8,500. I think I would rather have Devin Booker at 8,400 is close. We got D'Angelo Russell, Clay. I don't have a problem with Beal in a vacuum. I just think that, as per usual, there are a couple guys that are just under this tier that I can get to with more frequency.
Yeah, now that I've kind of pulled up the guys around him, I agree with you. I like him a lot at 9,800, but it just happens to be a slate where I like everyone in that price tag or in that price range.
Like it's a lot. I mean, Curry, Mitchell, Booker, Russell, Clay, and then you start getting into like Oubre, Ingles, Satoransky, Dinwiddie, where someone's gonna pop out of that group, but no one's ever really just jumping out.
I mean, I have Beal ahead of Booker.
I have it as essentially a coin flip. Like
I have
Beal clearly better, but they're going for different things because of the salaries.
Yeah, I have Beal at least right now, unless I figure out I need to update some stuff. But I have him ahead of Booker and Mitchell, but it's a Curry issue.
Okay. Yeah, Curry for sure. All right, for the rest of Washington, I'm all over the map here. So Ariza, a guy that's popping up quite a bit for me on both sites, 6,400 on FanDuel, 5,900 on DK. Do you have any specific Ariza takes?
No, I mean he's been playing pretty well. Plays 35, 36 minutes. He's a guy. He's grading out right now as someone that is basically like lineup filler for me. Like if I end up in that 6K price range, I'll be getting to Trevor Ariza.
What do you have of his minutes at?
36.
Okay, I had him at 37, so I was just curious. Portis, I don't have much of. Again, that didn't suit. Well, it started off really well. I thought he was busting out, and Jabari was going well, which was what I had. I was like, oh, nice. Like, maybe I can victory lap this one.
They're taking more and more minutes from Thomas Bryant, which
I gave Bryant 17 here. I gave Portis 29.
Yeah, I'm going 14 on Bryant.
Okay. What do you think about Portis?
I like him more than the other wings on Washington. I think it's a game where he should get every opportunity to play big minutes. They don't need his defense, but they do need his rebounding. And it's not a good spot, but he's a really good per minute producer. So he's not jumping off the page like in terms of the overall slate, but I do think that I like him more than I like a little bit more than I like Ariza or Jabari or Green.
Yeah, would you rather? I'm looking around at the guys in his range. Like I would rather have Ariza. I think that's probably pretty close. Who else is around him that's craziness? It's just the rest of his teammates. All I see are other people's names from this team. Ariza, Jabari. I don't get to him. I don't know why.
I mean, I have him at 1.18 points per minute, which is what he's been averaging with the Wizards.
Yeah, so I have him at 1.04. And this is going to be another combination of pace, defense, and then me probably just potentially having him underrepresented.
I do think it's
Saturansky I
interesting
don't have,
watching
though.
because of. Oh, go ahead. What'd you say?
No, I was moving on, but go ahead.
Oh, I was surprised. I thought it was interesting. Washington has like a 116 implied total.
I have 113.25, so that could change things for me.
I haven't double checked it, so you might be right.
I'm sure I'm not. Minus 2.5, 226. 114.25.
Okay, well that'll be lowering my stuff then.
Good luck to whatever you're getting done in Premium Slack, Ken. That's listening to the show while we're talking right now with a gigantic thing jammed in your face.
What?
Getting like dental work done, but
Oh.
listening to us, I guess, too. Man, that's scary. Super scary. Good luck. I don't know what you're getting done. I think you mentioned it earlier, but I don't remember. Okay. Saturansky is slightly popular. Not a guy that I'm getting to. Jabari, I have a little bit on FanDuel. Jeff. Oh, okay. We need to have a bigger conversation about FanDuel. Unless you have a Saturansky Jabari like hot take.
I don't.
Okay. I'm leading you into this clearly, but what do you think Jeff Green's ownership is on FanDuel today?
18%.
24. I have him in for 28 minutes. He's at 4,500. I got 4%. What are we missing here?
I have him at 30 minutes. Or, I mean, I think anywhere between 28 and 30 is reasonable. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a really cheap price tag at small forward. Like, no question.
Sure.
I don't have him projected as some great player or anything. I'm projected for like between 23 and 24 FanDuel points. Which at that price tag, though, is obviously fine.
Yeah, that's a lot of ownership in a spot that, like, it's not like they're playing the Hawks or the Suns or something. That one surprises me. I'm going to have to look into that a little bit. And he's one of the guys on the Wizards that I have projected better than he's been lately. So, I don't know what to do there. I don't have it. If he's at 24%, I'll just comfortably not have it.
Right now, I have him with FanDuel pricing. I have him as like my second best Wizard behind Portis. Oh, and sorry, third best. Wait, what am I looking at? Yeah, second best behind Portis. Yeah, but I don't really like any of their prices on FanDuel.
Agreed, except for Thomas Bryant, but that's not really what we're looking for.
Right.
I don't have anything else for the Wizards. Do you?
No.
Okay. We'll head to the Magic pace up spot. Aaron Gordon questionable. I'm saying that sort of like a question because I can't remember if that's what I saw this morning. Yes, questionable. Wes Iwundu questionable as well. That's a lot, actually. It's kind of weird. We'll start with Vooch, as we mentioned him before. He's 10K on FanDuel, 9,200 on DraftKings, $44 on Yahoo. He's popular, and he should be. This is a fantastic spot for Vooch, checking off all the boxes. No real quality defense coming from the Wizards. Nice pace-up spot for Orlando. I just love Vooch. Do you have anything else?
I have no reason not to love Vooch here. Washington, not a good rebounding team. They're playing incredibly fast. Since the deadline, they have basically no interior defense. We joked before, like their game plan now is to just score more points than whoever they play, and in a way where like it involves them just playing as much offense as possible. Defense doesn't really matter for this team, and Vooch should just go absolutely nuts in probably every category here.
Over the last 30 days, everyone in the Orlando starting lineup right now is below 1 FanDuel point per minute, except for Vooch, who is at 1.58.
Yeah. Does he have any triple doubles this season?
I have absolutely no idea.
I mean, I doubt it.
I wouldn't even know where to go to find that out.
He triple doubled in the third game of the season against Philadelphia, 27, 13, and 12. And the answer is www.fantasycruncher.com.
Oh, so you're just like looking through box scores?
Yeah.
For rebounds and assists? Okay.
I was just looking for assists.
That's fair.
But yeah, so I was going to say, like, I was going to call his first triple-double here, but I guess it would be a second.
It's a lot of confidence in those Wizards. Okay, so Aaron Gordon, 7,100 on FanDuel, 6,700 on DK, $28 on Yahoo. I understand he's questionable. I got a ton of him right now, and I don't know what to do about it.
You should get a ton of him.
Okay, good. I'm getting a ton of 6 dudes on Orlando right now.
Of 6?
6.
How many minutes do you have Gordon out, by the way?
34.
Okay. Yeah, because I couldn't decide what to do. Like, he played 31 last game, but I think he missed some time to his rib injury. He played 32 against Dallas, but prior to that, he was back to playing like 36 plus. I think I'm going to go 36 on him just because if he plays, I assume he's good to go. And this is a game that's important for both of these teams. I think he plays a lot.
If I put him in at 36 minutes right now, I'm going to have him in more than 100% of my lineups. Obviously we're projecting his ownership lower because he's got the Q tag. So 7 on FanDuel, 6 on DraftKings. I've got him in the mid 30s.
Yeah, if I give him 34 minutes, he still comes out as a really good play.
I'm in, but it does. I hate that he's questionable just because I feel like he's the type of guy that will play bad when he's hurt.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like it's a lower body injury or something.
Sure, just a rib makes it hard to, breathe. Anytime breathing is more difficult, that's an injury I don't want.
Yeah, that's true.
Either way, if he plays, I'm gonna have a ton of Aaron Gordon.
It's not like his game relies on like raw athleticism or anything, though.
No, not at all. Pure skill guy. Real scrappy. Like the power forward version. Well, I should say small forward because this stupid fucking team, but power forward version of Matthew Dellavedova. I am also quite a bit over the field on Evan Fournier.
You have fun with that.
5,400 on FanDuel, 5,400 on DraftKings. I mean, this is the spot for Fournier if you're going to have it, right?
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I just hate Evan Fournier.
Yeah, so do I. I'm not proud of it, but it's there. John Isaac, 6K on FanDuel, 5K on DK. I'm with the field in the high teens on both sites. Any preference on Isaac?
5K is pretty nice on DraftKings.
Mm-hmm. On the inverse, 5,400 for Fournier on FanDuel is really nice.
Yep. I'm still not getting a ton of Isaac, but I never really get a ton of Isaac, and a lot of times it comes back to hurt me.
Yeah. He's not a guy that I normally get, so I'd be happy to be around the field just so I can, I don't know, watch him for a reason today. Taking a lot of Orlando Magic basketball. I feel like they don't pop up on League Pass for me all that often.
Yeah. I
just want them to have a different construction of their team. Like, I just want everybody to bump up a spot in their, which is a shame because I love Vooch, but like the Isaac Gordon 3-4 is just so weird to me. How have they been?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea?
What'd you say?
Do you have any idea how they've been with those guys on the floor together? Because I would have assumed that they were dog shit, but maybe Clifford has turned them into like the functional way to do it.
I can look.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up.
So I'm looking with Gordon, Isaac, and Vooch on the floor this season. 4.3 net rating.
Damn, how did you get? You must have. You already have it up. Like not Orlando, but like the mechanism to look.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, my computer's just really fast.
Yeah. Well, that's sort of where I was going with this. Like, I don't know how you could have got to that faster than I did. Vooch, Gordon, Isaac on. They've played 1,600 possessions plus 3.9. Wow, man. I would have they have a 106.9 defensive rating, which is 80th percentile on cleaning the glass. I mean that's with two guys that are, one second-year player and two guys that are notorious for not being any good on defense.
Well, Vooch has really stepped it up this year.
Yeah, well, for himself, yes.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been bad defensively.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Whereas he used to be bad.
Yeah. I mean, the 80th percentile with these three dudes on. If you ask me what their defensive rating would have been before the season, I'd have been like, I don't know, like 30th percentile, 20th.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that is Steve Clifford.
But I mean, Isaac and Gordon have always been good.
Defensively?
Yeah.
No. I mean, Isaac should be. Gordon never.
Gordon's been their like James Harden stopper.
He's never been a good team defender.
Okay, he's been their on-ball defender like for years.
Yeah, he has the athleticism to do those things, but I think that his previous coaching was maybe one, not putting him in the right spots, being a 4 that's playing out of position, or simply being young. But no, they're turning the page, and I think having a good structure. When we saw it happen with the Hornets, good defensive ratings with guys that aren't notoriously good basketball players.
Yeah.
Alrighty. We're still not even done, these stupid Magic guys. I have quite a bit of Terrence Ross, 5,600 on FanDuel. He's at 9% ownership. I'm in there. He's at 4,900 on DK. I got 45% Terrence Ross.
I mean, it's such a good spot for Ross. Like, I'm with you. I have him behind Vooch and Gordon, but ahead of everyone else on this team on DraftKings, at least at 4,900. Should get around 28 minutes, assuming this is a competitive game. Washington has been terrible defending everything this year, but 3-point line included. Everything except the pick and roll. They've been really good there, but that shouldn't affect Ross too much. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how not to like him. He actually, since the start of February, Terrence Ross has a higher usage rate than Vooch.
Yeah, I have it in for 25% today, second highest behind Vooch, but still pretty monstrous.
I have it at 27.8%.
He's at 20% ownership. He's the highest owned guy on DK from the Magic, but he should be. And then finally, 4,300 on FanDuel, 4,300 on DraftKings. DJ Augustine, I have 56% on FanDuel right now and 33 on DraftKings.
Yeah, that seems fine.
And when I'm saying all of it, like, I haven't said any rules or like, this is just full-on crunch top 100 lineups. So I want to know.
Right, you're not saying you're going to play 33% DJ Augustine.
I mean, I might. I doubt it.
Right, yeah. But it would be an absurd and useless statement to say at 10 in the morning what you plan on playing percentage-wise.
Right, but like, it's not going to suddenly be 5. I can almost guarantee that, barring news.
Right.
But I mean, for 4,300, like, it's going to be hard to kill you in a spot where this is a fantastic matchup.
Especially with Briscoe out, which doesn't seem like a big deal, but Briscoe has not been stealing minutes, but Briscoe's better than Jerry and Grant.
Yeah. Well, and they would want to give Briscoe more minutes where they don't want to. Like, he's not high enough in the pecking order, or Grant isn't high enough in the pecking order to like play his way in.
Right. It's like Briscoe, like you said, like they want Briscoe to get his minutes, whereas when it's Grant, it's like, okay, Grant's job is to play the minutes DJ Augustine cannot play.
Exactly. That is a very important distinction for guys hitting like their cap of minutes in a day. How much do they actually want you to be out there before it starts?
Right.
And when it's Jerry and Grant, the answer is usually like not at all, if possible.
Right. So when it's Jerry and Grant, I pretty much always project Augustine for 30 minutes. When it's Briscoe, I pretty much always go 27 or 28, which when you're talking about someone like Augustine, who, is not a bad per minute producer, but he's certainly not great, that really makes a difference.
Yeah. So that's 6 guys on Orlando that I think are good today. Do you have any rules or groups that you would want to set on the Magic? And then we're going to need to talk about what happens if Gordon and a 1-2 are out. But
right. So I wouldn't want all 3 of Fournier, Gordon, and Isaac. I wouldn't really want Ross and Fournier, I don't think, together.
Okay. That one makes sense to me.
Yeah. The Isaac Gordon Fournier one, is more of just with Isaac and Gordon. Like there's only so many rebounds to go around, and with Vooch out there, he's getting his. So you already have Isaac and Gordon kind of competing for stats there, but then Fournier is just such a enigma where like I feel like if Fournier has a big game, the odds of all three of that group going off are pretty low.
Yeah, you would think so.
So I just like I would probably set a max 2 of I assume I'll go with like a max 3 Orlando, maybe max 4 depending on the rest of the slate, but probably max 3. But then like a max 2 out of Fournier, Ross, Isaac.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing is their pricing lends you to being able to have a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Like, outside of Vooch, like having, even if you did have a couple of guys that aren't necessarily their best combination, they're at price points that can get paid off. It's not as if you're pulling in like 3 guys in the 7s or something.
Yeah, that's which actually has me kind of backtracking what I'd said about Fournier and Ross, because when you have 5,400 Fournier and 4,900 Ross, even if Ross gets 26 minutes, Fournier gets like 32, they both can still pay that off.
Yeah.
It's not like Fournier 6K and Ross is 5,500.
Yeah, you'd be looking for like 75 between the two of them to try to win a tournament.
Yeah.
And I think that you can get there. Something that I'd like to point out that we don't necessarily talk about a lot. Run your crunches first before setting any groups or rules, and find out if those guys are even coming up together. Like if you're playing 150 lineups and you get 2 lineups with Ross and Fournier together or something, a rule that you were thinking about setting, I don't see the need to set them then. It's the spots where you get like 40% of a combination across all of your lineups, where it's like, okay, I need to reevaluate. But over 150, at least in situations like this, I would lean towards being less restrictive than more restrictive until I see how it comes out.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because if you have, like, you don't want to stop yourself from having any Ross plus Fournier across 150, but you just don't want it to be like every time you have one, you have the other.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Let me look at Fournier. I want to see if he has any sort of weird correlations with anybody. Very poor with Grant, Bamba. Otherwise, everybody else is relatively neutral. That doesn't really surprise me. Fournier kind of exists outside of the rest of these guys. Okay. If Aaron Gordon is out, who's the biggest benefactor?
God, it's messy.
Anytime the answer is Jarrell Martin, it really makes me sad.
Yeah. Gordon missed a game recently. I'm trying to figure out what day that was.
I can give you that answer. If it was in the last month, at least. It wasn't.
It wasn't?
No. He's played every day since February 12th. Shout out to my birthday.
Happy birthday, Josh.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Full month away. Or full month late.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I don't remember who started for Gordon the last game he missed.
I don't remember him missing. No. Game logs. Aaron Gordon. Do you have it yet?
No. Maybe I'm just making this whole thing up.
Probably. That doesn't show it the way that I would want them to. All right, I will have the answer in no time flat. Last day were January 19th and 21st.
Okay. Who did they play the 21st?
Atlanta. At Atlanta.
Okay. So Jonathan Simmons started, so that's super useful.
Cool. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that he is not the biggest benefactor for this today.
Yeah. I expected Wondu would start and Martin would pick up like 18 minutes off the bench if Wondu's in and Gordon's out. If they're both out, Jarrell Martin, I guess, has to play.
Melvin Frazier?
Is he back with the team?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Ross maybe plays a couple more minutes. Fournier probably plays like 38.
Does Kem Birch get power forward run?
That's what I was about to look at.
Because if
Birch
Khem Birch
has
can get
played,
north of 20 minutes, he's a really interesting punt.
yeah, Birch has played 0 minutes alongside Vooch since the start of February.
Which isn't terribly, like, it's hard to grab too much out of that because they also haven't, like, you know, the other guys haven't been missing time. So
Birch has played 0 minutes alongside Vooch this season.
that is more telling. Although he really wasn't playing all that
Again,
much.
though, it's, yeah.
You would need them both to be out for this to be meaningful in any way.
The last game Gordon missed, Bamba was in. He played basically no time, 0 minutes alongside Vooch.
So if they're both out, oh god, this is brutal. I don't know if anybody really takes a gigantic leap. Probably Jarrell Martin, right?
Yeah, Martin at 3K against this trash Wizards team.
Yeah.
If you got like 24 minutes, he'd be a pretty good play.
Yeah, because we're looking to fill like 55-ish for 50 to 55 minutes. So Martin's going to have to soak up quite a bit of that.
Yeah, if a one-do's in, I think he eats a lot of it.
Yeah, I figure he goes to like 28 right out of the gate.
I think he might go more than that. But yeah.
I don't know what he's questionable with. Do you? Toe.
No.
I don't know. Yeah, keep your eye on Jarrell Martin.
Yeah. My guess, and this is a pure just speculative guess, and I've been wrong on this shit like every day for the last 3 weeks, but my guess is that a one-do is more likely to sit than Gordon.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, pay attention. Watch the deeper dive in Live Before Lock tonight because this one will be important. And I realize we just spent a ton of time on Orlando, but I mean, they are probably the best team of the night just in terms of everything.
That happens when teams face the Wizards.
Yes, it does. Hawks and Grizzlies. If anything is going to make the Memphis Grizzlies look interesting, it's probably the Atlanta Hawks. Hold on, I need to make sure that I have this typed in correctly. Are they really favored? The Hawks really favored here. Nope, Memphis by 1 now. They opened as favorites, which is comical. All right. 110.25 implied total for the Hawks, 111.25 for the Wizards. Big time pace down spot for Atlanta. Trey Young, 8,300 on FanDuel, 7,700 on DraftKings. I'm getting a ton of Trey Young. I assume you are as well?
I had Memphis up. I guess strong. Some. At least on DraftKings.
I got 30% on my first crunch. He's at 20% expected ownership. How is he 7,700?
I don't know. That's pretty absurd.
That's just like another reason. I mean, it's not the perfect like 1-to-1, but I just couldn't go to Beal if Trey Young is at 7,700. Although that doesn't matter because stupid Beal doesn't have stupid point guard eligibility, so never mind.
Insane. Yeah.
It's so natural to think of him having it. That's the most ridiculous part of it all.
Well, I mean, he plays point guard.
Yeah, that doesn't help either.
Steph Curry should not be a shooting guard if Bradley Beal is not a point guard.
Yep. So the people around Trey Young on DK, Mike Conley at 7,800 in this game. I would rather have Trey Young. D'Angelo Russell 7,500. I would rather have Trey Young. I'd rather have Trey Young than Booker, than Mitchell, than Curry. I mean, I love.
You'd rather have Trey Young than Curry?
I think so.
Like I have him close with all the other guys you said, but not with you there.
I think I would.
You're also just a lot higher on him than I am, I think.
I got him at 1.2 fantasy points per minute for today's game.
I have him 1.25.
Okay. 34 minutes?
32.
Why 32?
He hasn't played more than 32 in like a week and a half.
That's a good point.
Since the quadruple overtime game.
Yeah.
And they've been in close games.
Coming off of a couple days rest is nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to take 1 minute off of him. Because I don't think there's anything stopping him from going to 34 or 35, anything like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Either way, I like Trey Young a lot. I don't like anyone else on the Hawks.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much where I'm at, except for liking Trey Young, just not as much as you like Trey Young.
Okay. Chat not liking my over Curry take.
That's because it was an absurd take.
Okay.
As always, chat is right.
Don't play to them.
I'm a man of the people, Josh.
Notorious man of the people. You can go hang out with Chad after I whoop you and Thrive again tonight. Okay. I have nothing else for Atlanta. How do you think Dedmon Len shakes out?
I don't know, like 26 for one of them and 22 for the other one.
Well, that's exactly what I have. 26 Dedmon, 22 Len. Yeah, I don't. Okay, just checking. I'm good. Let's go to Memphis. Massive pace up spot. Great defensive matchup. Mike Conley, 9,200 on FanDuel, 7,800 on DraftKings. I like him, but I'd rather have Trey Young. Same ownership today, right, by the way.
Yeah, let me see. I have Conley over Young. By like a hair.
Okay. I think Trey Young has a bigger ceiling than Conley. I think that's what's getting me there. More variability.
Yeah, that's fair. I have Conley with one more minute also.
So do I.
And actually, I take it back now that I adjusted Conley's rates. Since the Gasol trade, it's not by a hair.
Wait, say that again?
Huh?
Say that again?
I had said that I had Conley over Young by a hair, but I just corrected Conley's rates since the Marc Gasol trade, and now I have him by a pretty wide margin over Young.
Wow, okay.
By like 3-ish DraftKings points.
I've got Conley by 0.3 of a point, but I think I have a much bigger standard deviation on Young than I do on Conley. I'll have some, I don't want it to sound like I have zero Conley. I'm basically just under the field at 19%. So I clearly like him. I'm just going to have more Trey. There's a lot more to talk about in this stupid game, though. Joval.
Will Avery Bradley's price tag exceed $5,000 by the end of the season on DraftKings?
I hope not. I've got 36% on DraftKings right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm projected for like between 28 and 29 points.
Me too.
So it's not even like I have a really heavy projection on him, but he's 4,800.
Yep. Yeah, it looks tasty. And for him, this is a perfect spot. The Hawks are going to cough that ball up constantly. So I'll have a little bit of Joval, 6,800, but I'm not terribly enamored with it.
Yeah. If he were a different position, I'd have more. Like he grades out well for me. He just doesn't grade out that great relative to other centers.
Yeah, 7,000 other dudes to play in that spot. Obviously, we've touched on Avery Bradley. DeLon Wright, 5,300 FanDuel, 4,600 on DK. I'm getting more than some of him. Do you have any Wright takes?
Maybe I missed something because why are you getting a lot of him?
I have no idea. That's sort of what I'm asking you. Why am I getting a lot of him? I've got him in for 27 minutes.
I'm at 26.
Okay. I've got him at 1.02 FanDuel points per minute today.
Yeah, so I'm 1.04 DraftKings, which is 4,600. I guess I'll get some. I prefer Avery Bradley at 4,800.
Yeah, I just I have them both massively. That's that tier for me. That whole tier is being represented there. Memphis is gaining 4.7 possessions. based on this game, which is a ton. For the Grizzlies to get to a 111.25 implied total is like a bit of a miracle.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm sort of kind of with you on Wright, especially like FanDuel because he's 700 less than Avery Bradley.
Yeah, I'm gonna end up having some grades out. Like it's just he's a point per minute guy in a great spot.
Like DraftKings, I'll have less. I would almost guarantee because I have Bradley a little bit ahead of him. I have like Reggie Jackson a little bit ahead of him. Crossing positions, I have Noah a little bit ahead of him.
Yeah. I have 10% Noah on DK and 17 on FanDuel in 22 minutes.
Yeah.
What a world. Shout out Joakim Noah on the Grizzlies in 2019 being a viable DFS play as a backup center. And
never
sometimes a power forward, depending on how you want to classify it.
$3,600 Justin Holiday seems like it has to be talked about, even though it sucks.
I don't have any on either site. I'm too busy getting 42% CJ Miles on FanDuel.
So this actually
not practical. That's just
no. Yeah, I mean, so Holiday was in foul trouble last game, so he only played 21 minutes. But I think normally you get like 28-ish.
I have him in for 26 right now, so yeah, 28 seems perfectly fine. Yeah, apparently I'm being told that I should be punting FanDuel. I assume small forward with CJ Miles. Yeah. The chances, clear, just so everybody knows, in case you're looking at the screen, I'm not going to have 47% CJ Miles on FanDuel today. It's just telling me that I don't like the top end of small forward.
Right. Yeah, how bad do you have to be projected for 28 minutes against the Hawks at 3,600 and not even be like a positive play?
We're talking about Justin Holiday?
Yeah.
Justin Holiday, 0.54 FanDuel points per minute over his last 30 days. That's the answer to how bad you have to be.
That is unbelievable.
Okay.
I'm
putrid.
Yeah, all right. Move on. I'm done with that.
Okay, cool. OKC and Brooklyn. Thunder, 118.25 implied total. Brooklyn Nets, 110.75. It's a nice little game for the Thunder. Pace up spot. Nothing crazy from Brooklyn on defense. No Travion Graham, no Damari Carroll. I think I got that right. Brooklyn. Yes, no Damari Carroll, no Travion Graham. So let's start on the OKC side. I assume you and I are going to have a little bit of a discussion here. Russ, 11.7 on FanDuel, 11K on DK, 54 on Yahoo. He's at 27 and 21% ownership, respectively. I'm fine with just being with the field on Russ.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I think 11K on DraftKings is fine. I think that the problem is there's cheaper guys, like Steph Curry, who is much better than Trey Young, for a cheaper price tag. But whatever Westbrook I get to, like I like the spot for him. It's a spot where he should be able to grab a ton of rebounds. Obviously, he can score here, so yeah, I like Westbrook.
We're getting there, but Russ or Harden?
Let me see.
Russ for me.
It's Harden for me.
Okay. I have I'm fine either way. Well, I guess I'm not. I have very little Harden, so maybe I shouldn't say it like that. They compare themselves pretty well, but I think.
And I'm looking at DraftKings where Harden's $200 more.
Yeah, so was I. All right. I think we both agree that we're cool with being in like the 20%-ish range for Russ. Same as the public. Paul George, 10K on FanDuel, 9,600 on DraftKings, $48 on Yahoo. We both played too much of him 2 nights ago.
Right? Yeah, it's going to be a frustrating run until he figures out how to shoot again.
Yeah, so how do you manage something like this? We have him at 32% expected ownership on FanDuel, 17 on DraftKings. I manually cut his projection. He would have been grading out fantastic. I cut him down to just match his last 30 days because I was like another 10th of a point ahead of that. And when I do that, I get about half of the field. I'm not comfortable with it, but I don't know what else to do. So how are you going to handle Paul George tonight?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably how you should approach it. Um, I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or just kind of let it ride and hope he makes some shots. Like, he's at least getting to the line. He still contributes other stats.
Yeah.
My thing is that he's underpriced. Um,
Right.
it's not like we're still talking about $10,600 Paul George. So he's still at 9,600. Even if he has a inefficient shooting game, he has enough other ways to get there that you can kind of back into a good game anyway for his price tag. And then if he does actually make some shots, because again, we have no way of knowing if he's shooting poorly because he's injured, which seems likely, or if he's just shooting poorly because he's shooting poorly. And I hate guessing at that. So
the lack of shooting attempts in the last game is the really scary piece for me.
Yeah, that's true, especially in a spot against Utah where theoretically he would be the guy that should be getting more looks than Westbrook. He did get to the line 12 times again, though.
Yeah, but 8 shots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if I strip my nerfing of him off, I'll have him, like, I don't know, 50%.
Right.
And I just, like, there's no benefit for me doing that. Because I don't need to go that aggressive.
Let's see. I'm looking to see what happens if I take his rates like post All-Star break, which obviously it's only 7 games for him, but it accounts for those games where he's been injured and like last game maybe shooting a little bit less. It takes a couple of points off of his usage rate. Yeah, it took a couple points off his projection. I think it gets me to where I still will get a lot, but I probably won't get him like just being jammed into lineups over guys like Westbrook and Harden.
Yeah. I'm gonna find a level where I'm probably like with the field to double the field and try to land in that range.
Right.
I can't take someone that I think I would have in half of my lineups if he were perfectly healthy at this price and go under the field on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I basically just want to get, and I mean, I don't know that's the right way to do it. It's a way that just kind of makes sense to me. It's like I wanted to try and find something that I think like some set of rates that I think signifies the way Paul George is currently playing.
Mm-hmm.
And but you and I talked before about like the last thing that we want to change is expected like field goal percentage.
Right.
And so to me, just being willing to take like the smaller sample size, but get a little bit lower usage because that's how he's been playing lately. And it took me from like like a 54.5 point DK projection to like 52.5, which I think is still very, very reasonable. We know he can get there, and it's still going to get him into lineups. But those couple of points are the difference between me getting like not a lot of Westbrook, not a lot of Harden, and all the Paul George, to Paul George is like a very good play in that price range, and I'll get a lot, but he won't be being just jammed into every lineup.
Yeah, for sure. This feels like a spot where I want to reduce his like field goal attempts and not his like scoring rates. Just 2 less shot attempts than he normally takes, and see where that comes out. Treat everything else the same. There's only one other piece of this game that I really like, although the public is on someone else. Schroeder for 5,300 on FanDuel is way too cheap. He's 5,600 on DK, $300 more expensive, but I'm gonna end up with a lot of Schroeder on FanDuel.
Yeah, I think the FanDuel price is pretty nice.
His minutes have been pretty steady on the high end lately. So I've got him in for 29 right now, and if that's the case, 5,300, you just have to get there.
Yeah.
Jeremy Grant is at 15% on FanDuel and 18 on DK. He is not a guy that's popping up for me. Do you have any Jeremy Grant takes?
He looks pretty good for me. No Morris helps solidify his minutes.
Oh, I must have missed that.
Yeah, no Markieff Morris.
Questionable.
What?
Questionable.
He was out.
That's not how you spell that. I spelled Markieff without the R and Morris with 2 S's and 1 R. Thanks, Google, for saving me. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe he was out last game. They're all just running together.
Questionable. He
Okay.
left Monday's game with a sore neck and missed 2 months earlier this season because of the neck. So that's fair.
Okay, so yeah, but I mean, I have Grant at 34 minutes right now.
Yeah, I mean, I have him
I
at
get
33 anyway, so it's not really changing anything for me.
right. Yeah. He's another one on DraftKings at that like $4,800 price range. I have him slightly ahead of like Avery Bradley and DeLon Wright. Same ballpark as Noah. I'll be getting some. I'd be surprised if I go over 15%. Like
Okay.
you said, we have.
Would you rather have him or Jeff Green?
Grant?
Okay. Him or Jay Crowder?
Grant.
John Isaac.
Grant.
Okay, I would much rather have Isaac. I'm with
I
you
don't
on
feel,
every other one.
I don't feel as comfortable with that one, but that's where I'm at.
Fareed.
Grant.
Okay. That one's not close, but they were just like all of the guys in that salary tier at his position. So, okay. I don't have anything else from OKC.
I like Steven Adams.
Weird. 6,900 on FanDuel, 6,300 on DK, 23 on Yahoo. You never like Steven Adams, so go ahead.
I never like Steven Adams. I just like the spot.
Sure.
The thing with Adams, we talk about it a lot, is he's not involved enough offensively to give you that monster upside that most centers can. But I think that in this spot against Brooklyn, it's just an appealing spot for him. The minutes should be there. I have him projected a little bit better. Like looking at centers in his price range, I think I have him a little bit ahead of Valanciunas if I give Valanciunas 26 minutes.
Okay.
Valanciunas, yeah, I mean, I think Valanciunas probably has a little bit higher ceiling, but
would you rather have him or DeAndre Ayton? Same price.
They are the same price.
There's no way you're telling me. There's no way you're telling me Adams here.
I have Ayton at. I might need to adjust Ayton's rates, but I have Ayton at 0.3 of a point more.
I have Ayton at 36 and Adams at 31.3. DeAndre Ayton is the chalkiest center on the board right now. 25% expected ownership.
If I have Ayton at 33 minutes and Adams at 34, I have Ayton by a little bit less than a point.
Okay. Would you rather have Adams or Portis?
Adams by a little bit.
Okay. Adams or Draymond?
Adams.
Even Adams lover here, ladies and gentlemen. Mostly just gentlemen. Yeah, I'm not with you there. Clearly a fantastic spot. If I got any Steven Adams, it doesn't freak me out. I have 0 right now on DraftKings. So today will be the day that he just goes for 12 and 24.
I'm pulling up Brooklyn's numbers just to see if they've continued to be as bad on the boards as I expect that they have.
They have been 13th at offensive rebounding and 20th defensive rebounding. That's what I have, at least right now. That's lately.
Yeah.
So, middle of the pack, basically.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't. It's not like I plan on having a ton of Steven Adams. I just think that he's a pretty good play at his price.
Yeah, I just wanted to dig into it because that's like the first time I could remember you saying that.
Yeah.
So, let's go to Brooklyn, and this one's going to be a problem. So, massive pace up spot for Brooklyn. They're gaining north of 5 possessions. Russell is at 8K on FanDuel, 7,500 on DraftKings. I have him like 40% today. Talk me off of this.
Hang on. First, I want to go back.
Oh God, what do you like, Terrence
At the
Ferguson?
start of February, Brooklyn's allowed the most offensive rebounds per game.
Since when?
The start of February, so 16 games.
Okay.
Brooklyn's number 1, Washington's number 2.
Okay.
And that's what Steven Adams does.
That is what Steven Adams does. That is a very true statement.
For the season, Brooklyn's allowed like the 6th or 7th most. Since the start of February, they've allowed the most.
Oh God. I'll have to take a look at Adams a little bit closer now. You're starting to sway me. This is a long con. We have a Steven Adams prop. We do have a Russ prop. Points plus rebounds on Russell Westbrook. Over under 35.5. How do you feel?
Over under 35.5 points plus rebounds?
Yes.
Feels like the over. Oh, I have the under.
Really?
I have 33.9.
Points plus rebounds on Russ. You have 33.9. I'm going to kill my dog quick. You talk about that.
I have 33.9. I'm projected for like 22.5 points, 11.2 rebounds. It feels like it should be over, but I have his rates in there. I have him in for 36 minutes. It's a spot I'll probably pass on Thrive.
Okay. Did you figure out why you have the under on that?
Because my points plus rebounds equal less.
Okay. I mean, I understand that.
No, but I don't. That's
so look, I have him at 40.4. So, like, the reason that I'm bringing it up is because of how much I am over on Russ. I didn't know if you had like an issue or like wanted to double check it or anything.
Oh no, I have his rates where I want them. I have his minutes where I want them.
That's how you lose your first 2 games in Thrive, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to Brooklyn. Are you getting as much D'Angelo Russell as I am? We are usually on the same page for Russell, so.
He's in like the Trey Young category for me.
So he's incredible. Because I agree, he is in the Trey Young category. I have like 40% D'Angelo Russell. We're on the same page here.
How many minutes do you have him at?
30.
I have him at 31.5.
31.5 minutes?
Mentally, I was between 31 and 32, and it just came out 31.5.
So a month ago, it was, I don't ever put anybody in for odd numbers for minutes. Now, not only are you doing odd numbers, but you're giving seconds. I don't know what to do with you, man.
I have him at 31.
Uh-huh. Well, then I don't like him. I need that extra 30 seconds. That one possession will do a lot. Look, I have him at 1.37 fantasy points per minute. He's been at 1.3 over the last 30 days. The pace of this game should take that number higher than that. Oklahoma City's defense over their last 15 games is completely neutral. I can't get away from this dude unless something dramatically has changed about him. That could just be Spencer Dinwiddie. But yeah. I mean, I have the rates in here with, Dinwiddie back and everything. I'm gonna have a lot of D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, I have him ahead of Trey Young now that I adjusted some of his stuff.
Let me see who I have higher.
I have him behind Conley, ahead of Young right now.
I have him slightly ahead of Young. I have him ahead of Conley. I mean, I have him ahead of everyone, so.
1.19 points per minute in the 6 games since Dinwiddie came back. I have him at 1.28 for this game.
Okay.
And I have him. He's basically interchangeable for me with Young.
I agree. I should just have a lot of them. 80% of my lineups will have D'Angelo Russell and or Trey Young.
Good God, man.
That's not true, but it's going to be a lot. I'll be double the field on both of those guys.
I like the spot like mentally more than my projections do.
Okay. I don't have a ton of interest in Spencer Dinwiddie. 6,800 on FanDuel is a lot. 6,100 on DraftKings is better. He's just not a guy that I'm going to get a lot of. I liked him better when his price was dead. Are you getting a lot of Dinwiddie?
A little. I have him a little bit better at his price than Russell on DraftKings.
Okay.
But I probably should cut him back a little bit because talking about a 6-game sample size for Dinwiddie, like I don't know that he continues with 30% usage and 31% assists going forward.
Yeah, I have him in for 28% tonight usage.
Oh.
Well, what?
I just picked the wrong number.
Oh, okay.
If I use his season-long rates, so you see, he's averaged 1 point per minute for the season. He's averaged 1.17 since coming back.
Yeah.
DraftKings points per minute. If
I
I
have him
use
at
his
1.1.
What'd you say?
I have him at 1.1 for today.
I have at 1.03 if I use his season-long rates. I get him at like 1.2 if I use his recent rates.
I'd probably split the difference.
Yeah.
So Jared Allen is going to get the Yusuf Nurkic award for today. He's at $4,700 on DK. We're projecting him at 22% ownership. I'm leading this, obviously. I got 2
minutes
or 2%. I might just need to give him some more minutes. So how many minutes do you have Jared Allen projected for today?
28.
Okay. Did you give Ed Davis 20?
Yeah.
Okay. I had 27-21. But I'm going to switch to 28-20 just because of how far off I am. Are you in agreement with the Jared Allen ownership?
47%? No.
No. He is 4,700. He's at 22%.
Oh, probably still no.
Okay.
Like, because in that price range, you also have not like you have guys across a bunch of positions, but you also have Noah who projects really similarly for me. So I think that I'll probably end up. I assume Noah's much lower owned than Allen.
Yeah, that's safe. Yeah. This is a terrible spot for Jared Allen too.
Yeah, that's what you said last time.
Like the last time that they played?
No, when he played Detroit last game.
Oh, what did he do?
Like more than a fantasy point per minute. 11 points, 8 rebounds in 25 minutes.
Okay, he went for 28.5.
Yeah.
Let's see. Have they played Oklahoma City? Went for 32 against OKC in December in 28 minutes. Yeah, I mean, if he does that, that's really good.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, he didn't pop up a lot for me. That extra minute will help him a lot. I don't think that'll be anywhere near 22%. I have a hard time getting to anybody with that sort of volume with such high-end centers on the board and with someone being just center eligibility.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there.
Okay.
I have him at like 28 points, which is where I have like a million guys in that price range.
Yeah. Karis LeVert. How many minutes? Because we had a bit of a disagreement on this one last time.
Yeah, so I mean, he once again played 21 minutes last game, but now with guys out, I think that you could see a few more.
Yeah, I have him in for 26 now with those guys out.
Yeah, that's where I was too.
And if that's the case, I've got him at 15% on FanDuel, 29 on DraftKings, 4,800. Would you rather play Karis LeVert or Jared Allen?
Jared Allen. Well, like it's tough because obviously one's a center and one's not.
Is LeVert shooting guard, small forward?
Point guard, small forward.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. I have Allen projected for like a point more than LeVert on DraftKings.
So like I have Allen 0.2 of a point ahead. I have 29% LeVert and 2% Jared Allen, and that is a testament to Karis LeVert being able to be played in 5 separate roster spots.
Right.
So something I want to pay attention to, but I will likely have way more LeVert than Jared Allen. I'll have a little bit of Joe Harris. And how do you feel about Ed Davis as a FanDuel punt today?
I'm getting so tired of doing that. But
yeah, I got 63% Ed Davis on the first go round. So if I'm punting power forward, apparently it's coming out of Ed Davis.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense just because he at least normally you're going to end up dropping him, but he at least has the upside. Like he's greater than he's around the point per minute guy.
Yeah.
And there are games where weird things happen and he plays more minutes. Yeah, I mean, 3,600 is too low for his upside. It's pretty accurate for his projection.
Agreed. Alrighty. Wow, I'm running so long today. We had a lot to talk about in that Orlando game.
Already?
Yeah. 4 games. I didn't know I was doing the show with Laffy. Houston Rockets hosting the Golden State Warriors. Hit that like button while you're here, by the way, people. Very helpful for us. NBA Strategy is the promo code. AwesomeOstrat, the code for Thrive. Gets you a free $5. We'll look at a couple props here in this game. 117.25 implied total for the Rockets. 115.25 for the Warriors. The Rockets 2-point favorites. Pace up spot. No Kevin Durant. We'll start on the Houston side. James Harden, 12-2 on FanDuel, 11-2 on DK, 57 on Yahoo. I am pretty far underweight on James Harden.
What'd you say his FanDuel price tag was?
12-2.
Yeah, that's a little bit tougher. 11-2 on DraftKings, I think, is pretty appealing.
I have less of him on DraftKings than I do on FanDuel. I got 3% right now. I can probably give him more minutes. I have him in for 36. If he's ever going to play more, it's probably today.
Yeah. I'm at 36 also.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't see myself getting to an overwhelming amount of James Harden.
I have him for 61 DraftKings points.
I have him for 58. So I think we're comparable there. I just anticipate ending up with more Russ. And then I get into the guys that I think that are underpriced, $2,000 below him.
Yeah, I have him ahead of Russ, which we already talked about, but
yeah. And that is what it is. I don't think that I want to pay up for him. And he could go, I mean, he can break everything. He can go for 90. There aren't a lot of guys that have that ability.
Yeah.
And no Durant, I assume that the Warriors defense is like really significantly worse with Durant off.
It should be.
I'm going to look into that while we keep going. How do you feel about Chris Paul? 8,500 on FanDuel, and wait for it, 6,900 on DraftKings. I got 43% Chris Paul right now.
Yeah, he burned me the other day, going right back.
Yeah. How do you not?
Right.
I got 28% on FanDuel. I don't even hate the FanDuel price.
Yeah, I mean, he sucked lately, but the price tag accounts for that.
I can't not play Chris Paul at 6,900.
Yeah, it's his lowest price since like right when he first came back from his injury.
I was going to say since college.
Yeah.
Seriously,
yeah, I mean, prior to that,
has there been a time where Chris Paul's basically never been 6,900 unless he's on a minutes restriction in his entire career?
Yeah, no, like I'm scrolling through and never.
I would imagine you're not even close.
There were some 70, low to mid 7K price tags back in
2012.
Like, what year is this?
Right?
17, 18.
Yeah.
In like November.
I'm going to have as much as I can get. I don't know how I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, he's at 1.14 DraftKings points per minute in 16 games. I excluded the first couple of games when he came back from this injury, just because he was on that minutes restriction and everything. But 1.14 points per minute 21.9% usage, 37.5% assist percentage. I'm not letting a few bad games deter me from rostering a guy at an absurd price tag.
And not to mention, like, look, this is not him going for 31.5 at 7,100 is not a good game. It's not helpful. You're probably not winning anything major with that. Still not. You're still not dead.
Yeah,
You're still cresting 30 in his bad game at that price. The price has now gone down. And I would say that, like, that's about as bad as it's going to get over 30 minutes for him. 8 shot attempts, only 4 assists, which is the lowest number that he's had since.
he did grab 10 boards.
Holy shit, is this real? DraftKings? Yeah, he was 6,600 in February.
Yeah, like right after he came back.
Yeah. Yeah, he did grab 10 boards.
He came back on like the 28th or something.
Yeah. I'm going to have a lot here. A lot. No other way to do it, in my opinion.
Yep. I'm with you.
Any interest in Capella?
Not really.
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad. I just think I can get similar upside and similar projections for less money.
Agreed. Any interest in Fareed?
Nope.
PJ Tucker?
Nope.
3,800.
I mean, whatever.
Okay.
I have him projected for like 0.62 points per minute.
Yeah, I've got 0.66. Okay.
Sorry, I have him at 0.6 points per minute.
Well, that changes everything. Let's head to Golden State. No Durant. I don't think that we need to talk about anybody other than the first 4 guys. However, Andre Igudala is 4,300 on FanDuel, 4K on DK, and he's roughly 20% owned on both sites. I don't have him. Do you?
Probably. I like him a lot more than I like Tucker. Let me see. I want to make sure that I have my Golden State rates where I want them. But I mean, I think that you get 27, 28 minutes from Igudala.
Okay. I've got him in for 26 right now. I could easily boost that a little bit. I might want to take a look at him too. Yeah, I don't know. Let's talk the big 4. Curry, 9,200 on FanDuel, 9,300 on DraftKings. He is 36% owned on FanDuel. I'm just under that number. Looks fine. He's 17% under on DraftKings. 17% owned on DraftKings. I'm about half that.
You have 9% Steph on DraftKings?
Well, technically I have 10. I feel like you want to punch me through the screen. Yes, I have 10%. He's the least owned of the 4 Warriors today for me on DraftKings.
How?
I don't know how to answer that. I've got him for 1.25 fantasy points per minute. I've got 26% Cousins. I've got 24% Clay. I've got 18% Draymond.
Yeah.
Clay, did you see Clay's usage rate with Durant off?
35.5% this season?
Yeah, massive.
Curry's at 37.
I looked at it a little bit more recently, but I mean, I knew that it was a big number.
Curry's at 35.5 without Durant since Cousins started playing, but that's only like 100 minutes. Since the start of last season, Curry's played 721 minutes without Durant, 37.7% usage, 1.6 points per minute.
So what are you projecting him for? Because obviously with Durant being like, I don't know how well that information matters now that Cousins is here.
I still think it does because I expect that you'll see minutes staggered in some way here. And even since Cousins came back, still 35.5% for Curry without Durant. So I'm treating this basically like it has been since last season.
Okay. I'm not sure I can get there. But I mean, that's obviously going to be the differentiating factor here. Because if I do that and I put him at like 1.4 FanDuel points per minute or something, I'm going to have a ton.
Or I'm at 1.65 DraftKings.
That's what you have him at right now?
Yeah. I have him as the best play on the slate.
We are separated by 0.4 of a point per minute. That's a lot. Oh, man. That is interesting stuff. I need to pull... I can't be that aggressive with him. Oh, I'm going to eat this one bad, aren't I?
I have him as the best play on the slate on both sites, I think.
I don't even have him as the best play on his own team. I don't even have him as the best guard on his team on DraftKings.
Yeah.
I think you're being... Okay, I think that I am probably underrepresenting him a bit. And I think that you are overrepresenting him.
Okay, if I cut his usage from the 37.7% that it is since the start of last season to the 35.5% that it is since Cousins came back when Durant's not on the floor.
Cousins came back, what, January 18th?
Yeah. I still get him as the best play on the slate.
Boy, okay. This is one of those where, like, I'm not, it doesn't grade out well in my brain. So let me just make sure that I didn't type something in wrong. I did, update rates for him being out. This is at 5.9 and 5.5. So I'm way higher there. Rebounding shouldn't matter. Does he do anything weird on defense? Yeah, does not get blocks and does not get steals. I'm overrepresenting him there. And usage 34.7. Okay, so that's interesting. So Clay's is not as high. So since Cousins came back on the 18th, with Durant off, Clay's usage is 28.7%. That is a big time swing for him. So if I bring him down,
it's because he went from getting his minutes staggered where he was by himself to getting his minutes staggered with Cousins.
Yeah. I will bump Curry a little bit. And then Cousins is at 33, so I can bump that as well. Iggy. Ooh, he's at 10. Look at that.
If I take Curry's rates over his 100 minutes without Durant since Cousins came back, I still get him as the top play, just not by as wide a margin.
Yeah. I like him a lot on FanDuel for $9,200. I don't think that the $9,300 price tag on DraftKings is something that I find crazy appealing with how many guys have that same sort of set of eligibility at a slightly lower price tag. He can fuck me up bad in this spot. And that is... I won't be comfortable. Well, I'll never know. I'll wake up and find out how it happened. It's not to say that it's like I'm just avoiding him, but I will. It's not a spot that I'm crushing. Ooh, I don't like it. I don't like it. So tell me how you feel about this. Steph Curry, rebounds plus assists. 11.5 is the total. 110 is the over. How do you feel about
I'll
Curry?
end up passing on it because if I give him the like lower assist percentage since Cousins came back, I get him at like 10.5. If I give him the assist percentage that he's had since last year without Durant, I would get like 11.7.
Yeah, it's a pass for me as well. I would take the over, but I won't be taking it, I don't believe. Okay, so how do you feel about Cousins, Thompson, and Draymond?
I like Cousins and I like Thompson.
Okay.
I have Draymond way behind them.
What do you have his rates at for today?
Dre?
Yeah, like per minute.
0.91 DraftKings.
I have him at 0.93, 5,900, 35 minutes?
34.
Okay.
I can go to 35 though.
Yeah, I'm just with the field here. We project 17%. I got 18, so. You like him more on FanDuel by any chance? 6,600?
Let me see. Like the same thing, just kind of a neutral play for me.
Okay. I mean, when push comes to shove, I'm going to have at least one Warrior in probably every lineup I have. So,
Yeah.
All right, let's close this out. Unless you have anything else.
Steph Curry remains a really, really good play. This is like when you
plays today.
Derek White the other day.
This is what?
This is like when you didn't like Derek White the other day.
I ended up playing like.
Yeah, I know. By the end of the show, I think you had him projected higher than I did. But
yeah, I can't get there with Curry. Like nothing that I'm looking at is telling me that I should be increasing these massive rates.
So what do you have Curry at?
Like projection?
Like usage and projection.
Okay, I'll go. I'll go through everything since I have it here, and there's no reason not to. Easy. So assist rate, I have in at 7.9%. I know that you and I talk about that differently.
Yeah, I almost just like had a stroke when you said that.
Yeah, no. So it's his assist rate from Wowie with Durant off since Cousins is back is 5.9%. I've got him in for 7.9. So like,
yeah,
I'm giving. It's not even that I'm just using that. I'm clearly giving him a boost.
We did the same thing. I basically split between his overall assist percentage without Durant and what he's at with Cousins.
Yeah. His turnover rate is 5.5%. I got it in at 4.7, so I'm trying to be a little bit better there. He has not been doing anything in terms of stocks. I try not to touch these too much because they're one of any of those things over a limited amount of possessions can swing it a lot. But 0.5% on steals, no blocks whatsoever. I've got him at 1.5 on steals, so like I'm basically keeping his normal stuff. I have his usage in at 33.5%. He's been at 34.7. So in theory, I could probably go up one more there to 34.5. I think that's functionally fine. At which point I get him at 1.3 fantasy points per minute. I'll probably be right around the field at 17%.
Okay, yeah, I have his usage higher at 35.5%. Which is what he's at since Cousins came back without Durant. Without Durant overall, he's up like 37%, no matter what the sample size is. So I'm just higher on the usage.
Josh Must didn't play DFS when KD wasn't on Golden State. Yeah, that's what it was. DFS for 6 fucking years. So what do you end up with per minute?
On DraftKings, I have him at 1.53.
Yeah, like I don't know what I would have to do to even get remotely close to that number. Besides just not change anything.
Yeah, but like I'm comfortable with it because it's lower than what he's averaged since last season.
I just don't think that we could pay attention to that last season stuff.
But it's the exact same team except for Cousins.
That is not the same thing, man.
Okay, right, but his usage since Cousins came back is still like through the roof when Durant's not on the floor. And he's not going to play all of his minutes with Cousins.
Sure.
And so like and Draymond's taken like a 3 or 4% usage hit. So like
yeah, I mean I have Draymond at 11% usage, so
yeah, I'm at like 12.
Hold on. Oh, I can't see it on here. Dave, you just dodged a bullet, man. You were about to get a 5-minute timeout in YouTube chat. I can't kick you out of premium Slack unless you said imagine, at which point then I'd get you. Alrighty, final game. Tune in to the deeper dive to see if I've been able to talk Adam out of this nonsense. You said hold on. You won't be using the Curry prop, right? You don't think?
Probably not.
Okay. It would be incredibly sweet if you did, and that's the one that cost you the victory tonight. Like I'd get a lot out of that.
If it was points, I would be.
Phoenix Suns hosting the Utah Jazz, final game of the night, late night hammer. Unless they've moved it. I have no idea what the schedule is any longer. 107.25 implied total for the Suns, 114.75 for the Jazz. Adam just wants to shake his head at Josh. I mean, he is. No, I mean, look, that's how this works. If everybody played the exact same thing, it'd be a real boring conversation, and DFS wouldn't exist the way that it does.
And those of us that agree with me can just agree that we are blessed. Some people do not want to roster Steph Curry without Kevin Durant.
It's a lot of talk from a guy down 0-2. Devin Booker, 9K on FanDuel, 8,400 on DK, 39 on Yahoo. I have way less than I would have expected. But a matchup against the Jazz is not appealing.
For me, it's not an appealing matchup. I love Booker as a DFS player and everything, but there's so many options around him. You have Trey, you have Conley, you have Russell, you have so many guys that we've talked about where those guys have monster upsides, and they're in more favorable spots. So it gets tough for me to really get to Booker with a ton of priority.
Same. When we talk about guys like Trey Young or Chris Paul, and I can't get to Booker then. There's just better guys at lower prices than Booker even. And this is another reason why it's really difficult for me to get to someone like Bradley Beal, because I can just I don't even like Devin Booker all that much, but if he's 8,400 and Beal is 90 whatever, it just makes it hard to spend that additional money. DeAndre Ayton, he's 8,100 on FanDuel, not terribly appealing to me. He's 6,300 on DraftKings. At some point in time, can we fix these center salaries? 25% expected ownership on Ayton. I got 19. This is the spot where Ayton is the guy that's getting the most of my center exposure for the mispriced guys, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's not going to Jared Allen. It's not going to all of those. It just happens to be going to Ayton.
How many minutes do you have him at?
33.
Okay, yeah, so do I. He's played 34 a few times lately, but I still feel a little bit better with 33. Yeah, I'm getting him as a good play. Very comparable to Steven Adams, like I had said before. It's obviously not a super appealing matchup, but you're talking about a guy that averages over a fantasy point per minute, has over his last 15 games a 21% usage rate, 16% rebounding percentage, and is just underpriced for what he can do.
I'm with you. This one I'm not comfortable with. Are you getting a lot of Josh Jackson by any chance? There's no way my rates are right. It's not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore. There's no way my rates are right. I've got him at 0.95 FanDuel points per minute. He's been at 0.8. So that stands out pretty aggressively.
0.9 DraftKings.
You have a 0.9 DraftKings?
Yeah.
Huh. Do you like him then at 3,700?
He's okay. I have him at 21.7 points.
Okay, so I'm at 22.9, which is clearly too high in comparison. 24 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. He's at 22% expected ownership, so that's one where I will take a deeper look. I don't need chalk Josh Jackson when he plays mid-20s minutes.
Yeah.
I think my ceiling fan just died. Just not coming back on. It's kind of annoying. I don't have anything else for Phoenix.
Me neither.
A little bit of Kelly Oubre, I think, is okay.
Yeah.
That's all. Utah Jazz. That's a pretty decent matchup. 9,800 for Gobert on FanDuel, 8,200 on DraftKings. I have a ton of Gobert. He's at 8% on FanDuel. I got 23. He's at 17 on DK. I got 34. I just want a lot of Rudy Gobert here.
I'm a little lower on him than you. I still like him.
Okay.
But not quite as much.
Okay. How do you feel about Mitchell?
There he is. I'm fine with him. I have him behind Gobert, I think.
Okay. I would rather have probably Mitchell, but it's close.
Yeah, actually, I have them very close. It's hard to get his rates correct because now you have not only Rubio, but you have Exum back as well.
Yeah. I have Rubio in for 28 minutes. Where are you landing there?
I was gonna go with like 26.
Okay. I got a lot of Joe Ingles on FanDuel, 6,100. He's like the guy that stands out in that range for me, but something I want to look into. That's all I got, though. I mean, Gobert is the clear star for me here.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how to get Mitchell's. I might just take his numbers with Rubio because now he's going to be playing with a point guard the whole time.
Yeah. And this is one of those spots that we talked about a couple days ago that we generally like when the favored team is on the road. Makes the game a little bit closer. Phoenix is terrible defensively, pace up spot for the Jazz. I like having a lot of Utah here.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And it's not like the Jazz are traveling to like a weird spot where they're like behind in time zones or whatever, basically due south.
Yeah, it's just like I have guys from other teams that I like more is the problem. Like I love the spot for Utah.
Yeah. Uh-oh. In case we get disconnected here. I just heard my backup battery flick on and off. Glad we're almost done.
Yeah, so I have Gobert as like my clear top guy from Utah now that I've kind of tried to adjust things.
Rudy Gobert on Thrive today. Points. Over under 15.5. You get 90 points for the over.
I've made 18.
Okay. I agree that I like the over as well. I think we're done.
Cool.
Yeah. Long show. There are a couple of things that we needed to hit on pretty aggressively. And I was a bit long-winded. What else is new? Deep Dive will be out in the early afternoon, courtesy of Laffy. Deeper Dive from 5 to 6. Live before lock from 6 to 7. Chris Baggs, Fast Eddie Fear, taking you all the way up to lock. And then tonight, 9 o'clock, Jason Roslin, Ben Raza, talking about the Players' Championship, PGA, live before lock. This is a really big tournament if you're into PGA DFS. All the big names are playing. It's the 5th major. Tiger is in. Great tournaments out there. So if you're interested in dipping your toe into the PGA water, come check us out. Check out Ben and Jason's show tonight. They'll walk through everything for about an hour. It's basically golf live before lock, but lock is usually at like 6 o'clock in the morning. So I don't think anybody's getting up at 5 a.m. to talk to these dudes up until PGA lineups lock. So we do it the night before. Come check that out. Shout out to Thrive. Thanks for sponsoring the show. Thanks for putting together a contest where I demoralize Adam on a public forum. We will be playing game 3 tonight. bit.ly/Awesemo will get you to Thrive. Awesemo Strat is the promo code. It'll get you $5 for free. You don't even have to deposit. So check that out. Adam, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Alrighty, everybody. Best of luck tonight. We'll talk to you later. Go everybody but Steph Curry.